Afternoon, what's going on? Everyone, welcome. How's it going? It wouldn't let me push live there for some reason. Don't know what was going on there, but we are live now, so it's all good. Get your questions in, get your comments in, and get your opinions in as well, because we are going to be discussing what's going on with Manchester United's midfield and what's going on with Manchester United's midfield transfer targets. Now, the question all summer is, United obviously play midfield free. We have got Bruno, we've got Manu. We're pretty happy with both of those two players. You know, we're genuinely really good footballers. They need a third wheel. You know, they need somebody else in there with them that we all go, yeah, man, that's what we want. We're happy with him. Get it in the mixer. I can see you all in the comments. See Notch is in there. What sandwich you just had? Brian's in the mixer. We see Scott, James. Altered Shape is in the mixer. We've got Maurice. So, yeah, get your questions in, get your comments in. How's it going? Anthony's in there as well. We need someone that we all go, yeah, that's the one, man. Casemiro, first season, in the current situation we find ourselves in, yeah, be well happy with that, man. Well happy with that. But there's been no real movement on who that guy is going to be. Now, first game of the league season is tomorrow night. And United have got 0 midfielders signed. We've done good work up front. We've done good work in defence. We've signed 3 defenders. Okay, one of them's injured now, but we've signed 3 defenders. And it's not just about names. It's the quality. And it's how they complement each other and how they bring in, like, you know, obviously it was funny watching Liverpool get rejected by Zubimendi. We've also been linked with Zubimendi, but I don't necessarily think he perfectly complements everything else that we need in terms of a player in that midfield. Now, we've been linked with Ugarte, Berg, Fofana, Zubimendi, like I said, Rios, Amrabat. There's probably more that I just can't remember as well that we've been linked with, but we've been linked with a lot of players in midfield. And United seem quite set, I think, on Ugarte, who has underwhelmed at PSG, which is a club that's possible to underwhelm at, I think. They're looking to recoup the money that they spent after only a year. They've brought in João Neves, great player. And our current midfield options, Casemiro, which I wouldn't have an issue. If Casemiro played once a week and was, you know, someone that was going to come off, I think, sorted. McTominay, I don't want to see him in United midfield. I don't want to see him in United midfield as an attacking midfielder, let alone as a defensive midfielder or even a box-to-box. Don't want to see him in there. You know, Mount is obviously in the mix as well, but he's clearly not in front of Manu or Bruno, so he's someone else. Collier, too inexperienced. Might have a great career, might be a great player, might be the new Brian Robson. We just don't know where he fits at the moment. He's shown a bit of promise on tour, and that's all we can wholeheartedly say. Shown a bit of promise. Let's see him get 20 minutes in the Premier League a couple of times, then make a decision on him. You know, none of these are really perfect for the role. So what are we actually waiting on? Was seeing Aston Villa sign Onana a mistake? Would he have been the exact kind of profile of player to play in the number 6 alongside Manu that we wanted? What's going to be the fix? I pretty much think it's going to be, yeah, Casemiro, Brian just said there. We've also got Eriksen. I forgot to mention Eriksen. We've got a lean-looking Casemiro. Now, a lean and he is a player that we know is capable of being an 8, 9 out of 10. Last season, he was more like a 4 or 5 out of 10. That sometimes you just wanted to take him off because you're just thinking, nah, what are you doing here? United have to fix this. Now, it's not getting fixed ahead of tomorrow, for sure, I know that. Which means that come Saturday, Sunday, United need to get to work. Now, are we waiting on McTominay to Fulham? And did we not want to complete that ahead of the Fulham game? Out of some weird sentiment, maybe. Or was there just not enough time to complete that ahead of the Fulham game? I think United, because of the signings we've made, I mean, logically, look at, we needed that Wan-Bissaka deal to be done. And then as soon as that was done, De Ligt and Mazraoui was just here with a quickness. It was sorted. Do we need Scott McTominay out of the door before we can make this happen? Do we need that? Tom United Nation says we need a left back. Luke Shaw cannot be relied on. I'll talk about Luke Shaw a little bit later on. I don't think the need for a left back is as desperate as a need for a central midfielder, because if Luke Shaw is fit, and I know that's a huge if Luke Shaw is fit, you've got a great left back there. Kei Shimo says, can any of the youth players step up? Maxi, you're asking a hell of a lot. So for someone to come and replace or prevent United signing a new Casemiro, you're asking, even if you sign Ugarte, you're going, mate, you're a good player, but can you replace like what Casemiro was? That's a hard task for anybody. Let alone seeing, hey, I know you played under 18s last season. Any chance you can be like an £80 million midfielder tomorrow? That's a big ask, man. That is a big ask. And, okay, Mainu asked, and the answer was like, yeah, I can, actually. Not a fucking problem. But that's not normal. That isn't the norm. There isn't just 10 of them just chilling in the academy, just waiting for the call-up. Like, Mainu ended up being a little bit different, a little bit special. Alex says, McTominay scores against Fulham. They pay more. That might be the thing, Enrico says, might be random. Hey, we love the random ones. Might be interested in knowing how the reaction channels our United get along in the sense of assisting one another. Listen, the ones that support United are real good. I get on nice with Sam Peoples. We get on well with United View. There are some nice people in the space. Matthew says, never seen the likes of. I don't know what that's in relation to. Notch says, the thing we need is we need the right player to partner Mainu, and not many available and willing are around. That's the problem, mate. Yeah, I agree. Darren says, Ugarte, who didn't feature much in the French league, is still a big risk for him to come in and hit the ground running. Hang on. Ugarte played 25 times in the French league last season. Can't say he didn't feature much. And he played well when he played as well. To say he didn't feature much it's just one of those. It's not true. Adnan says, thoughts on Chelsea looking to offload Ugo Chukwu for around 20 million. Reckon he could be good for us a DM. Not as that sort of comes in, starts every week. Dugout says, I think the original plan was Ugarte until we got De Ligt. Now we have De Ligt. I think United will sign Berg and then De Jong next season when we have sold more. That might be how it goes down, mate. Yeah, you're right. That might be how it goes down. That's not a bad shout, actually. He's clearly got a boner for Frankie de Jong, hasn't he? He clearly does. Leonidas says, with Shaw being unreliable as a starting left-back, could we transition him to a backup left-side centre-half for Martinez and buy a new left-back until Amas is ready to make the spot his own? That's also not a bad idea. Yeah, I think Luke Shaw could be an effective left-side centre-half backup player that isn't relied on all the time. It's a hell of a good one. Alex Talks Football does a good job, whatever, on the channel. I don't know her. I've never met her. I don't know her, so I couldn't say. G. Aitken says, how about Martino playing in the middle? I think Ajax, Maguire and De Ligt could be solid. Maguire can't feature in this team for us to do what we want to do. Mark says, seems madness our goal difference was negative last season. We haven't brought in a goal scorer. Xerxes seems to play in a similar role to Bruno or Mount. Strange how quiet it is on Ivan Toney anywhere. I think that, listen, I think that any signings United make could be hinged upon sales. And I wonder if Sancho, or Marcus, because I'll be honest with you, I recorded a video last week. I'll show you the thumbnail. Because I recorded a video. I didn't post a video. Let me find it, one sec. Because I had some news. And I couldn't get the news stood up everywhere I wanted to get it stood up. But this was the thumbnail for it. This is what I'd heard. So I recorded a video about Marcus going to PSG because the word was that personal terms had been agreed. That video is in draft on this channel. And I just chose not to post it. So if Sancho goes or if Marcus goes, I actually think that need for Xerxes to come in, not Xerxes, sorry, for Ivan Toney to come in makes a lot of sense. So you could see that being the case. Sancho and or Marcus leave, Ivan Toney comes in, and Scott McTominay goes, Ugarte comes in, and you think, actually, yeah, there you go. That's pretty good. Have I seen the new kit advert? Yep, it is. It's good. I like it. Ant says, Steve, it could still happen. Frankly, Marcus' body language has not changed. Ashwin says, Rashford cannot leave before Sancho, surely. Well, the thing is, they're not linked, are they? Necessarily. Darren says, Ugarte is the profile of player we need, but he did have 6 games on left on the bench at the end of last season. Was that because he signalled his intention that I want to get out of it? Sometimes politics plays a lot more of a part than we think, doesn't it? Ed says, we've just seen we're putting a bid in for Karioglu to rival Brighton's. Not sure if concrete. Where have you seen that? What do I think of the black goalkeeper kit? Thought it was awesome until I realised that every single team's been given the same thing. Pavel says, I'm from Slovakia and I got annoyed with our pundits here a lot, but boy, do you have some insane individuals in the UK. Yeah. Also America. America's got some absolutely batshit crazy ones, I think. Craig says, what about the free Adrian Rabiot, then sell Scott to fund Ugarte later in the window? Do you know what? This is the madness, is the way this season, this pre-season has gone for us. All of those things are completely on the table. Like, I don't feel like, Joe, if I was sitting here going, we're signing Neymar and Messi, watch me, it's happening. Like, I would be sitting here going, no, we're not. But I could sit here, could I see a case where Rabiot and Ugarte and Ivan Toney still come into Manchester United this window? Yeah, if United sold Rashford, Sancho, and Scott McTominay, I could easily see Rabiot, Ugarte, and Ivan Toney coming in. And Jesus fucking Christ, have you just completely fucking revamped the squad in a mad way? Notch says, I'd accept Rabiot if the wages are suitable. I think everyone's got the same kind of vibe on his wages for sure. Punch says, I bet PSG see Sancho as a way to lure Marcus over eventually. Might be the thing. Jacob says, this summer transfer window gets me proper giddy. Yeah. Capo Die says, never happening. It might not. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying I could see a window where I could see that happening. I could see that happening. Yamada says, revamp's not necessarily leveled up, though. I think it'd be stronger. I think it'd be stronger, and you couldn't argue that it was stronger. In terms of the depth, it's absolutely stronger. I think all you got to move on then is Harry Maguire. Do I think Casemiro will have a good season? I have no idea. I just fucking hope so. Lumbago says, have I heard that United stalled on Sander Berg because they think Burnley's price tag is unrealistic? Good. United are doing this lately. United, rather than just fucking throwing money at people whenever they tell us a fee, are going, whoa, no. And whether it's performative or a negotiation tactic or it's how they actually feel, I don't care. Because it's working. For £51 million, United have just got Mazraoui and De Ligt. And shout out to, I had a message on Instagram. I get tons of messages on Instagram. I can't reply to all of them. But I did get a message on Instagram a second ago, which was from, let me find it. Because it was a great message to get. So this is from a guy called James, long-term fan from Germany, live in Munich, United fan, but also support Bayern because they're my local team and all my friends go. Confirmed that almost all Bayern fans are really upset with the way Bayern pushed out De Ligt and are of the opinion that they downgraded the team yet again. In the opinion of most fans, he was the only centre-half that always performed when he played over the last 2 years. That's a fucking excellent bit of local knowledge that we've got from there. And it says they think he was pushed out by Tuchel and has a grudge against the higher-ups for not showing any support towards him and can't blame him for wanting to leave. He says with Mazraoui on the other hand, they're not too bothered. Stanisic has just come back from a good loan move at Leverkusen, and Bowie still has to prove himself, and Kimmich has also been playing at right back for the club and the country, so they're not overly asked about Mazraoui. But Manchester United just got both of those players for £51 million. We spent £51 million on fucking Fred. We spent £50 million on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have just got two excellent international players that 100% start for Manchester United, because Fred didn't 100% start for Manchester United, and there was a case that Aaron Wan-Bissaka didn't 100% start for Manchester United. Now, he obviously went on and did that, but you could make the case that there was already players in the squad that he may not have started ahead of. Richard says, I'm comfortable with Casemiro playing the bigger games and being rested with Collier here and there, and hopefully a new young centre-half. Casemiro has a decent year and drives his value up. What's my fantasy Premier League team? I don't bother doing it anymore, to be honest, because obviously I pick a real team on a Saturday afternoon, and my Saturday mornings are like fucking precise. I don't have any time for any sitting around and picking a blag fantasy team. What happens on a Saturday is running a football team is like having 25 children or more with some of the other staff and that we've got. So I end up having like 100 or so messages on a Saturday morning. I get up, I take my daughter to gymnastics, I go to the gym, I get back, I shower, I go to the game. And in the 5 or 6 minutes that I get in between, I put my team sheet on my presentation that I give the players before the lads, and I might grab something to eat. I have no time to sit around thinking about what fantasy team that I'm going to do, so I just don't bother doing it. And do you know what normally happens anyway? I pick it, I have a fucking... Joy, if the game was... I'd be willing to do a fantasy team, which was a blind fantasy team, where if people said, right, we pick our team today, and then we don't fucking touch it, and we see who wins at the end of the season. Because I'm not making subs and fucking triple captaining this. That I can't be arsed with that shit. But if there's anyone wanted to say, do you know what? Let's rock and roll. You pick a team. It's a tenner in the pot. The best one at the end of the season takes the fucking pot. I'd do that. But I'm not sitting around and fucking making substitutions and wondering about the fucking availability of a fucking Fulham fullback. You know what I mean? It's not the game, man. Would I take Verratti? Yes. Would he fit in? Probably not. I love Verratti. And I would take... It's just what... Like, listen, if Sal Niguez becomes available, I'm getting him. You all know why. Just roll with it. It might not be the right thing to do, but it is what I would do. Sean says, the mainstream media is dying, but don't seem to realise they can't compete with YouTube presenters, then double down on their batshit bias and think a new dress code will fix things. I noticed the new dress code as well. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here looking like the fucking #1 hit list for a veteran that's about to go on a fucking rampage somewhere, innit? Veteran hat, veteran fucking t-shirt. Fuck me. Imagine someone thought that this was planned and orchestrated. I've got a fucking helmet behind me on the wall, on the thing, you know. It's meant to be a football show. Oh, fuck it. Darren says, where did the stories come from that Dyer replaced the lit at Blind just an agenda against United signings? I just don't think people had a fucking clue and just decided that that was a thing, or they signed Dyer, that they must have played him. Connor says, Kimmich is the player to get, but way too expensive. Kimmich is one of my favourite footballers to watch in this sort of generation of footballers. I think he's absolutely sensational. It's one of them, innit? Dodgy's mum says, Casemiro is dead. You don't come back from last season. He might. I don't necessarily think it's a foregone conclusion. I think he might. Alex says, you do have a pick with your Bezzy mate, R9. Yeah, that's keeping it full. Football, that. Jaden got me that, so we like that. Nick says, 100% agree on your fantasy takes, D. Look, this... People do, and some people go the full other way. Fucking... Ben's one of my best mates. Ben came, I think, in the top 100 of... Or the top 500 or something. Basically, like, in the top 0 point something or other % of all fantasy players in the fucking world. Like, he won most of the leagues that he was in. Because he's fucking nerdy about it. But I just can't... I just haven't got the fucking time for that shit. So, you know, we can still be friends. But that's... You do you. Brian says, rewatch Casemiro from Saturday. Man has lost so much weight, looks so trim and so lean. Have a look. Oh no, I saw it up close when we saw him in person in America. You could see it. It was one of those. What did he get in return? I don't know. Tim says, get on Sky, would be mint, Steve. No swearing, no. I don't want to do that stuff. I want to do the stuff that I get to be me on, and that's it. I wouldn't want to go on anywhere that gives me a fucking here's what you need to do. I'm not going to do that. Nick says, excited new academy players coming in. Yep. Matthew says, absolutely wounded. I'm going to a wedding tomorrow instead of watching the game. You can watch. Paddock played Paddock played hashtag in a friendly last year, or was it the year before? And I watched it on my phone at the back. No regrets. Andrew says, I swear, Liverpool training videos on YouTube, pure Instagram coaching bullshit. Feels like Liverpool are going to have a David Moyes season. It really does, see? It really fucking does. Like, I put Liverpool as 8th. A little bit of that was to wind the Scousers up, but I genuinely think that they're going to finish outside the top 4. And I think that it's that tight between... Like, Aston Villa, you cannot write off. They've had a fucking great window. I'm actually good. I didn't speak about it the other day when I was talking about the different windows. Aston Villa have had a good window. Chelsea, it might click for. And if it clicks for them, they've got fucking unbelievable footballers. They might also finish 10th, right? So I have no idea what Chelsea are going to do. Tottenham have just gone about their business quite nice, and that's another year with Ange. They could kick on, or they could kind of stagnate. It could go either way. Because I don't think Solanke's going to score 30 goals for them. But you think, if United just play at the level that we know we can play at, will we finish above Liverpool anyway, right? City and Arsenal are untouchable. I think United can get into the top 4. I think Villa can push you. Newcastle might push you. I just think it's so tight in there that, you know, you misstep a little bit, which we've seen Liverpool do recently as well, even under Klopp, finishing outside the top 4. I just think that they're going to do that. Marcus says Slot is a better tactical manager than Klopp. Is he, though? Klopp's plan A was pretty fucking good. Does it need to be that much of a tactical thing? He wasn't that fucking tactical in the Eredivisie. You know, Ten Hag's win rate was like 70-something%, and his was only 64%. Nick says, do we have another Leicester season with Villa winning the league? Bit of madness, that, wasn't it? Ruben says, we're probably a defensive midfielder and a left-back away from challenging. I would argue we're maybe a defensive midfielder and a left-back, and one of our forwards being a genuine 25-plus sort of a 25-goal sort of plus season away from doing it. Now, I think Haaland's got the potential to do it, but he needs to realise that potential, or United won't do it. I think we can be defensively sound, but I think we're lacking goals a little bit. Marcus says, I love Scholes. What do I make about him? Basically saying that things that are just false, not helping with misinformation. I don't know. Scholes is grumpy, isn't he, right? That's almost his kind of personality when it comes to him talking. I don't know. I wouldn't have minded being on the fan debate to have a chat with him about it, but I also don't want to go on a fan debate. See, do you know we're talking about the fan debate stuff as well? Now, I've done it twice. Joe's done it a handful of times. Usually it's Macca that goes on it. But when you go on those things, we don't, because we just go, nah. But if you actually look in the crowd, you can see everyone else gets told to wear the merchandise from the club that they're at. You're like, well, no, because people know I support United, and if they don't, well, they fucking will as soon as I open my mouth, won't they? But yeah, that's one of the places that people get told what to wear. Put something United on. No, I'll wear a black t-shirt. Thanks for asking. How's your mum and them? Sean says, the way people have been talking about Xerxes' best position sounds like a possible long-term replacement for Bruno. Thoughts? No, he's a striker. He does operate in a similar sort of place to Bruno, but we might be seeing an evolution of what Bruno can do. Matthew says, best I've seen of Scholes recently was the interview on his son's autism, proper vulnerable and seemed so sound. Yeah, he's out there all the time. If you follow him on social media, he's out there all the time doing stuff with Aiden and taking him about and all that lot. Dobby is free says, hey Steve, shout out from South Africa. How you doing? Alex says, which Oasis record is my second best? What do you mean? I mean, Oasis have got like B-sides and unreleased material that would be the best song that 99% of bands ever released. I mean, they hit a vein of just fucking absolute nothing but net for a long old time. G. Aitken says, Xerxes came from Bologna, who plays same sound as football as Ten Hag. He's a perfect fit to link play and get goals. Frilla says, my friends watch a lot of Italian football, really rate Xerxes. Apparently he is rapid too. Have I watched the Flintoff documentary? No, I've not. Wind Up Merchant says Oasis are Man City. Factually incorrect. Two of Oasis, the two most famous people in Oasis, are Man City, but they're not Man City. They're Manchester City fans, and one of them's arguably a Celtic fan. So whatever. Kyle says, City ruined Oasis for me. Why? Don't worry about them. They're fucking nothing. They're small time at the end of the day. And the pair of them aren't really fucking City fans anyway. Like, Noel Gallagher goes to fucking as many City games as I do a season. Do you know what I mean? VTA says Rabiot and Ugarte would be great. Sell Ericsson, McTominay, keep Casemiro and put stock in Toby. It's not a bad idea. Columbia is my favourite tune for sure, says Ross. It's a great tune. Yeah, Bone Energy United, says John. Correct. 007 Crazy says, do I reckon 1 or 2 more transfers? Could be anything, man. Could be anything. Could be anything. At this stage of the season and how fast we've moved when we've moved, Anthony says, love having Rude back, but it feels like too many chefs, if I'm honest. What do I think? Well, watching it up close, I don't, actually. Now, under Fergie, so whoever's doing under Fergie bingo, drink. Under Fergie, United used to have a few people that sort of did various different bits and roles. So Mike Phelan felt like an administrative assistant a little bit. He would organise which players had to do the commercial stuff. He would be a bit of a temperature checker. How's the lads getting on? Who's got, you know, welfare or personal problems that they don't really want to talk to the teammates or the actual gaffer about? That's the role of an assistant boss. One of the assistant bosses is to, you know, put your arm around someone. What's going on, son? You look a little bit down. Do you want to go for a brew? Very important role in a football club where the pressure's on like it is at United. Then you're going to have, let's say, just take it under the Fergie one. You're going to have the likes of Rennie Mullenstein. That's the guy who's planning training, who's doing the technical work with the lads, overseeing that sort of stuff. And then we had, what is his fucking name? Begins with an S. Tony Strudwick. Then you had Tony Strudwick, who was he was a fitness guy, but actually he used to take sessions. So there used to be, I consume any fucking videos of Fergie's training sessions that I could. Tony Strudwick used to run a lot of sessions, particularly the session just before a match, where you think, hang on, are we not working on tactics here? We are, but there's a level of intensity that the fitness guy, the conditioning coach, is putting into the players ahead of the game. He had a big role. And you would see him and Rennie Mullenstein on the pitch at the same time. You wouldn't necessarily see Mike Phelan on the pitch touching a corner or a ball. He might stand at the side and be chatting to Fergie. They might be talking about welfare stuff. They might be just talking about player opinion. What do you think about that young lad coming through? There's a lot of discussions happen on training pitches like that. And Fergie's observing, and Fergie's taking in all of this information, and his job is to chunk it and to come up with the correct decisions. And the correct decisions can be the correct tactics, the correct player, the correct youngster to throw in, the right time to leave a player out. And he doesn't look quite on the boil. He looks like he's going to fucking go overboard. Those are the decisions he needs to make. And if you're, as the manager out there on the training pitch doing those things, that's hard for you to do. Now, when you look at the divisional responsibilities amongst United's current sort of set of staff, I personally think Ruud van Nistelrooy, this is obviously just from that one training session I observed, I think Ruud van Nistelrooy is taking the training sessions. I think so that would probably be like the Rennie Mullenstein kind of role. He's probably having a little bit more input than that, but, you know, that's the role, I think. Hacker is cutting about the gaff, almost in a Sergeant Majory kind of fashion. That might be what Tony Strudwick was doing a little bit, probably with the help of other strength and conditioning coaches, because there was a fucking dozen coaches kicking about. And that allows Erik ten Hag to have conversations, as we saw on tour. Ashworth, Wilcox, they were all there. He can have conversations with those guys. They can have conversations at the side of the pitch. What do you think about Toby Collier? I think we keep hold of him. Don't send him on loan this year. We're going to keep him. We're going to play him. All right, cool. What about him? He needs to go on loan, actually. What about him? We're going to keep him for cover because Luke Shaw's fucking busted, as always. Like, those are the conversations that you need to be having on a sideline. And it's not necessarily too many chefs. The decision's going to fall with Erik ten Hag. It's about Erik ten Hag delegating and bringing in the information from those other sources and doing it in the right way, where he then goes, okay, this is the decision that we're going with. G. Aiken says Brandon Williams could have progressed more at left back, giving good cover, and Willie Kambala too. Get Lindelof off the books. As much as I like him, he's past any shade of his best. I agree. Mushfik says, what am I saying? Do you mean the job of a boss is not to pick players' pockets during dinners? We already discussed that. It's the most cringeworthy thing I've heard all fucking summer. Josh says, rumours are that Malacia is pregnant. Andrew Cox says, what's the official word on the Luke Shaw situation? The official word is fucking disappointment, I think. Disappointment. Like we said when he was selected, how are you selecting a player that hasn't played for his fucking club? And then, when he was unfit last week and I did a couple of tweets about him and some people lost their fucking mind over it. We're like, well, let's just see where he fucking is next week. Well, where is he next week? Treatment room. Nice one. CTB says, have I heard about the Atletico Madrid fitness coach? He used to go on mad ultramarathons with the players. No, I haven't heard about that. We've got a couple of super chats here. One, Joshua Bowater says, did I see Charlie Savage's screamer the other day? No, I've not. And Charlie McNeil bagging 2 on his full debut. Nice, well done. I'm pleased for Charlie. I got a mate who's a Sheffield United fan that I served with in the army. And I know Deshaun's done well since he's gone there, and he was peppering me with questions about Charlie McNeil going there. So glad that he's doing well. Resonating Silence says, Casse is looking quite lean. Could be that all kinds of average pundits slagging him off hurt his pride and we get a good season out of him. Could be. Could be, yeah. Ryan says, do I think Steve McLaren will do a good job for Jamaica? As a Jamaican, I'm optimistic. I don't know, It could go either way, couldn't it? He's clearly got a hell of a lot of experience at the very, very top level in football. I'm excited to see as well. I'd like to see Jamaica doing well. Lucas says, I don't blame Shaw, blame the club for extending his contract twice after his horrible leg break. The problem is there's a real good footballer with Luke Shaw. You got to you got to see where people's optimism comes in with it because of that. He needs to just get fit. If he can't get fit, then he's going to have to go, and someone's got to be ruthless. I actually think we've got the football sort of personnel at the front of office now that are going to make those decisions. Jacob says, with Ugarte, I'm certain we can break close to City and Arsenal. Kyle says Jamaica should recruit Greenwood. I thought they had. Little Stevie Wonder says, you'll definitely make a poster. Reminds me of a song by Jeff Beck. Seriously, do yourself a favour. What? I don't know the song. Is that the song? Aaron says, do you think United should hire a PR team so they can manage what people think of the players and the club? No, I just think they need to just be absolutely fucking banning the bollocks out of anybody that chat shit that's provable shit, like they did last season. They started well with that. Am I not doing 5 with Rio anymore? Love joining the channel. Yeah, I am doing it. Ahmed says, I love how all pundits and football experts are sleeping on us and don't realise the amount of progress made at United in a short period. 21 is coming. We will win the league again, right? Just imagine how fucking cool it's going to be. Like, since I started making content about United, we haven't really challenged for a league at all. So, let alone win one. We've certainly not done anything in the Champions League. We did okay in the Europa League, but it's not the same. What an incredible fucking experience that would be to be covering those games and stuff to look back on. Like, imagine that we had video of us, as a fan media from winning the league. How fucking cool that would be. Like, I know a lot of people put this on fan media that you do better when they lose. You do better when you lose if you lose your fucking head. I don't lose my fucking head. And a lot of the times if we lose, I don't even do a fucking video. Like, that's happened so many fucking times. My personal channel does better when we win. Like, the views go through the fucking roof. Everyone wants to know about it. When we lose, nobody wants analysis of when you fucking lost. We've done enough. So having having the league stuff to celebrate, and enjoy from a personal fucking point of view, the success that the channel would have on the back of being successful. It'd be great to fucking see, great to experience. I saw even Redmen saw how Redmen did on the back of that Champions League win, and I think we'd do the same if we had a sort of thing like that. Nathan says they loved your United lineup tactics video. Really helped me understand the formations and where the team are headed. Kudos, thanks. That took a good 2 or 3 days to make that video. With the writing of it, the editing of it, and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So I'm glad that it's gone down as well as it has. It should hit about 100k today. It's worth so much more, really, but it is what it is. We like it. Alex says Ronaldinho's son has signed for Burnley. Yeah, I imagine he's not quite as good as his dad, based on that. Andrew says the views could go through the roof on a win because everyone tunes in to see mayonnaise and chairs fly across the camera. Yeah. I think one of my biggest videos is the post-Paris game one. Hamza says, brilliant video, Steve. Love the content. Thank you. Ryan says, your player ratings were too generous, in my opinion. Well, people think I'm grumpy. I'm not that grumpy. I got high standards, but I'm also quite positive, and I want us to fucking do well, man. Andrew says, winning the league the next time will be spectacular, especially if it's unexpected. Yep. Brian says, not sure if you talked about it before, but it's this company in the Burnley documentary. Yeah. I did. Darren says, win it again will be so good for the younger fans. Yep. Would I take a Sancho Ugarte swap deal? Yep. Aaron Deep says, your guys' channels love the club. Other channels are just in it for the clicks and the cash. I think that is the case with some people, yeah, for sure. Are there many kids who have surpassed their footballing fathers? Haaland, Frank Lampard, Haaland. Top of my head, that's all I can think of. I mean, most players are, dads of players. So actually most, have surpassed what their dads did. But I think when we talk about that, we're talking about, the famous dads, aren't we? Jude Bellingham, yeah, arguably he did. What's my score prediction for tomorrow? I think 3-0 United. Anthony says, how do I think Ineos could engage with fan channels better? So we get... Half of me thinks the immediate answer is press conferences and stuff. But the problem is that the press conference stuff is managed not on an individual club basis. That's why on pre-season in Europa League we can get access. We can't get that when it's Premier League because it's managed by a company called Dataco, which is traditional media focused. Match reports in newspapers, that sort of stuff, broadcast media. So how could the club engage better? I don't know, actually. I don't know. Because I actually think that since certain people have left the club have been quite open and engaging to us. Like, us as a fan channel, we help the club with events, on tours and stuff. I actually haven't seen the lads to speak to them properly about what we did, but we did a joint event with the Anfield Rap ahead of the Liverpool game in South Carolina. Last year we hosted Q&As for the club with with Robbo, Chucky and Wes Brown, and Jay and Joe went and did an in-stadium Q&A for the club at in Texas last year. So like we're doing bits. We did do some. Yeah, I was on fucking stage with Wes Brown in San Diego. Forgot. So we do bits with the club at the moment, and the relationship is there. I don't know what more you would want as a fan channel because our relationship at the moment is fine. We don't get any special treatment. They ask us to do some stuff. We do some stuff, and it's fine. What you never want to do is have your integrity compromised. I still get to say fuck the Glazers, and no one tells me what to say. You know, I can still have a complaint about ticket prices or the way certain things are at the football club, and no one goes, "You're going to lose X, Y, and Z access." I go, "Who gives a fuck?" You know, I have an audience, I think, because I try and say my own opinions as a fan with no filter. And I think, you know, I'm not a journalist. I'm not trying to be a journalist. I'm just a fan that occasionally gets to do some cool stuff. You don't want to have too close a relationship. Now, at one point, the club did tell us that I could sit down with Erik Ten Hag about a year or so ago. And I would like that. I would like that opportunity. I would like the opportunity to talk tactical stuff. Some of the comments just mentioned it there. Andrew says you don't want the relationship to be too friendly with the club, or it can warp the view as a result. James says getting Dan Ashworth or Barada on the channel would be a huge step forward. I like that, yeah. Josh says you can ask Tom Heaton what the fuck he was doing. Yeah, I got a lot of feedback for that, actually. It was funny because Sky Sports was standing on the corner of the mix zone. So the mix zone's literally just like a VIP barrier, one of the seatbelt type material stuff. And Simon Stone from the BBC are standing on the corner, and Melissa's there from Sky, and they quite often go to Sky. I think they're told to kind of go to Sky. And none of the players were stopping. And I said, to Simon Stone, if you let me get on the corner here, and I'll try and stop Tom and Harry, because I know that they'll chat to us. And both of them actually stopped and chatted to us, and no one else stopped. And you think, it's a bit mad. You got like the likes of BBC and Sky, and none of them can get any of the players to stop and chat to them. I didn't ask Harry anything dodgy. I didn't ask him anything difficult. You know, it's a 17-year-old lad just making his way at United, and I'm a fucking United fan. I ain't here to trip anyone up. I'm not here to get one line out of someone and then piss people off. You know, I want to see that lad do well for Manchester United, so I want to ask him fucking easy, underarm questions. Did you enjoy that? Do you think you can step up? I know the answers. He knows the answers. It's almost playing the game a little bit with him, innit? Give him an opportunity. With Tom, I know Tom well enough where I can say something along the lines of, what the fucking hell was that? And he took it the right way. I wasn't sure after there was a comment made by a journalist who doesn't have any fucking pull or access with someone. Do you not think you should be asking questions like that? And then I thought, oh, fuck. I don't know. And I doubted myself. So I went and found him. And I gripped him and I said, yeah. I said that question wasn't over the top, was it? Because I'm thinking, yes, we've got this footage, and Stretford Paddock are going to put this footage out of me asking Tom, what the fuck was you doing? And that's fine. But then you go, oh shit, yeah, Sky have got this, BBC have got this, every other outlet that's standing behind us has also got this footage. And you go, can that be twisted in a way? So I went and spoke to Tom, and he was like, no, it's fine. And then we had and then the next fucking word out of Tom's mouth is, how did Paddock get on? Which is, I fucking love that. And that's why I have a good relationship with him. And who knows, one day you might see him play for us. And yeah, Gruben says still a better interview as compared to the questions that came after. I thank you. And I ask the questions that I want to know about stuff. Like, we sit in the press conferences and I sit there going, oh, fucking bore off, man. Asking him about fucking transfers. Like, he's never in a press conference history as a manager gone, actually, here's what's going on with the fucking transfers. It doesn't happen. But I did have the opportunity to ask Tom about the build-up and his height, outside the box and stuff like that. And, are we trying to build up in the 3-2-5? And Tom confirms it for us. I can see it. Getting a first-team player to go, yeah, we're working on that. That, for me, is what fucking journalists should be doing. But, if I did get access to press conferences, I would ask that sort of stuff. But the problem is you can't ask a tactical question every single week because managers are going to be guarded. And there's a good chance if I was asking even really astute tactical questions every single week, after about 6 or 7 weeks, Ten Hag's going to be like, hey, fuck him off out of... like, asking me all the fucking questions. Because you don't want all of your tactics to get out. Not necessarily because he wouldn't like me as an individual, but at times, those questions they're good to know, and it's good information for you to have as a fan. But at the same time, whilst you can see and analyze certain things that are going on the pitch, you also can't just have all the questions out there and all the answers about your tactics out online for all the opposition to see. It's making your fucking job as a manager harder. So it's one of those, isn't it? Ant says the best guest has to be Mullenstein. Absolute cracking, such an eye opener. Well, I actually spoke to Rennie this week, because I was seeing if he was coming down to the Paddock game this weekend. There will be some ex-players at the Paddock game this weekend. So if you are in Manchester watching United against Fulham tomorrow night, Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff, fucking free entry. Come and watch us, come and hang out, come and have a chat, come and have a fucking bev with us afterwards in the bar. But I text Rennie seeing if he was coming to the match, and he's not. He's going watching a player in Austria. So there will be some people down. I'm hoping that there's a decent little crowd down. But yeah, come and get in the mix if you're in Manchester this weekend. It'll be good. Am I allowed in the stadium yet? Yes, my ban is over. If we win 2-0 on Saturday, we go top of the league. And like I said, that is what I'm aiming to do. And, hopefully stay there for the entirety of the season. I think most people should have their Paddock shirts for this season as well. So get yourselves down. Some Paddock shirts will be on sale for those that we've got in stock. So if you want to come and get in the mix, like I said, we'd love to have you. And then you can actually fucking see in person. Do I actually have a fucking clue what I'm talking about? Do my lads play football? Or am I full of shit? And then you can make your own opinion upon that as well. Do I still have Messi's number, says Andrew. Yeah, but he doesn't answer. Old Shade says, I'll be down if I'm feeling better. What's happened, son? Punch Pate says, was I talking to Heaton and Amas? When I was talking to Heaton and Amas, they play for the love of the game. They do, yeah. Is Ash the director of football at Paddock? No, he is sporting director. What the differences in those titles are, I don't know. Jersey says, why was he banned from Old Trafford? I wasn't banned from Old Trafford. I was on a free match ban from Paddock. I'll be at Old Trafford tomorrow night. Wish I could make it down to the weekend, but I work weekends. Unlucky. Brandon says, love a chill out with you, Steve, but I live in Northern Ireland. You seem a cool guy. We have an Irish supporters club, mate, and they make the trip quite fucking regular. So if you want, I think flights aren't too bad, I think they'll be dear when United are at home. So you might have to get in there double early with those. It's one of them, innit? Little Stevie Wonder says, Rashi is missing Shaw's overlap. I totally agree. Peter says, wouldn't mind watching Paddock come over from Norway to watch United. Well, that's what we're hoping for. When United are at home and Paddock are playing the same weekend at home, and it's not obviously both on a Saturday. So United are going to play a lot of Sundays because of Europa League. If you're here on a Saturday and we're at home, get yourselves down and watch. Or this weekend, like we said, Fulham on Friday night. If you're still in Manchester on Saturday, or if you are local and you think, fuck it, go on, let me go and have a look at what these dickheads are doing. 3 o'clock is at Hyde United. You can get the train there from the city centre, and it's like 500 or 600 metres from the train station to the stadium. And like I said, it's free. James says, Paddock any closer to finding a proper home? Possibly. Stay tuned on that. If anyone's got a spare couple of mil, come and talk to me, because then we would be definitely. Alex says, if I come to the office, pick up shirt, then come over to the game. Yeah, the shirt will be available tomorrow. If you bought a shirt and it's not been posted, you ask for local pickup, you can come and get it today or tomorrow. How excited am I to see Rude back at Old Trafford tomorrow night? Very. Answers, I was planning to come but can't get there now. Grade 2 tear in my right forearm, so can't drive. Fucking hell, missing the United game as well. Mate, that sucks. No one local. Predictions for Paddock? 5-0 on Saturday. And if I'm right, we'll do rum in the bar. What's parking like at the ground? There'll be enough. There'll be enough parking. Don't worry about it. It's not like Old Trafford. If we get 200-300, I'll be pretty fucking happy with that. So, and we probably won't. So, there'll be plenty to park. Stephen says, buy that little island that was in the news. That's up for sale. Tim says, West Didsbury FC have a ground in Charlton. Could do a ground share. Maybe, but they have multiple teams, and also it's on grass. We're at Hyde. It's 4G, means we don't miss a game. And actually, we're fucking unbelievable on 4G, if I say so myself. Arnold pressing 50 kg dumbbells. Well, you kind of fucking deserve to rip some of them, don't you? Ryan says, tell United to give me Old Trafford when they build a new one, imagine. someone, Gary Neville actually said to me, "Why don't you get the cliff?" What? I was chatting to Gary Neville about facilities, and he says, "Why don't you get the cliff?" I went, "The fucking cliff," and he said, "Yeah." He said, "They let me use it." I said, "Yeah, you're also Gary Neville, mate. I'm not Gary Neville." And then he gave me the number of someone to speak to at United about it. I actually had the number anyway. It was someone who was on the tour, and I went and spoke to him while he was on the tour. And I said, Gary Neville's asked me told me to ask you about getting the cliff for Paddock. But I think it meant more as a one-off. And they actually suggested something. But it's not going to happen. So it's one of them. But I would like, do you know what? I'd fucking love a game at the cliff. Genuinely would love a fucking game at the cliff. Just to fucking, I've said I've coached a game at the cliff. Are you mad? Yeah, I would love a game at the cliff. So I might try and hook it up for a Paddock match at some point. I could maybe play a cup game there because our league has to ratify all of our venues, but I could maybe play a cup match at the cliff. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Andrew says Gary Neville's brain's on a different world. He sees a plot of land next to Old Trafford and a hotel rather than an allotment. It's impressive. Genuinely, there used to be about 6 stalls that sold like old programs and like the snide merch and stuff, and then the canal. And how he went, actually, yeah, get a fucking hotel there. Unbelievable. Ryan says, I want a friendly between FC United and Paddock. They'd put 10 past us. They'd absolutely twat us, to be honest. My under-16s played their under-17s 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Beat them 4-1. Abhinav says, when was this? When was what? When was beating Gary Neville? In Germany. Ant says, back when you could stand and watch them train and get smacked in the face by an 80-mile-an-hour Scholes volley. Yeah. What division are Paddock in? We are in Division 2 this year, and I hope next year it is Division fucking 1. We're winning the league this year. Thoughts on the new third kit? I really like it, genuinely. Yep, genuinely like it. Righty, we've been going long enough here, I think. Cheers to everyone that's been tuning in, hanging out. Preview will be out later. We have got an announcement in that video, so stay tuned for that. We have got a new sponsor for the whole season, so come and check that in the mixer. If you are in Manchester this weekend, very much would like you to come and hang out with us and watch the game. I promise it'll be a good performance, and if it's not, I'll get the beers in. So if you're a member, get yourself down early. If you've got a shirt, get yourself down early because we're doing some photos for the day. But cheers for tuning in. As always, take it easy, and I'll catch you lot in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.